My name is Nick. I'm an addict, alcoholic. I'm addicted to more. I will be reading from Chemically Dependent Anonymous. Step 3. We made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. In CDA meetings, we often hear recovering people speak of Step 3 as the pivot of the program. When we look at the words of the step, many of us find this statement frightening. We came to CDA because of our lack of control over chemicals and the resulting consequence in our lives. We hoped to find control. Instead, we had to admit our powerlessness and unmanageability and accept that we need a power greater than our own. The next step forward is to surrender ourselves to that power. However, most of us find control difficult to surrender. We need to remember that we have a disease, one that warps our bodies, minds, and spirits. CDA members often say, don't pick up, go to meetings, work the steps. As we don't pick up, our bodies begin to heal. As we go to meetings, our minds begin to heal. And as we replace sick thinking with recovery thinking, as we work the steps, our spirits begin to heal as we develop a relationship with a higher power. Mental and spiritual healing is a slow process. In step 2, our acceptance that neither our thinking nor our actions while using was sane must be re-examined in recovery. This is one of the most humbling experiences in the recovery journey. We realize that our self-centeredness and self-will continue to drive us. We may be hard-headed or soft-hearted. We may care only about ourselves, or we may truly believe that we want only what's best for others. It doesn't matter. The point is that it is our will that we pursue. Whether by force, cunning, manipulation, or cajoling, we are still trying to control. In the meantime, the fear upon which self-centeredness is based eats at us internally. We wonder what we're doing wrong and may even wonder if being chemical-free is worth it. In short, just as in our using days, our efforts at control are doing us much more harm than good. We have an alternative to misery in active addiction and misery in recovery. Our alternative is to work the 12 steps. We need not be pushed to the brink or beyond before we give step 3 a chance. As with the first 2 steps and anything else in CDA, we take it one day or one bit at a time. We hear many members talking about letting go or turning it over. We see that we've already made a beginning with step 3 by turning our chemical dependency over to a higher power, whether that is our home group, CDA as a whole, or the God of our understanding. As we weary of other apparently unsolvable problems in our lives, we try turning these over to a higher power. An amazing thing happens. Either the problems are solved or they simply aren't problems anymore. Our experiences begin to match the wonders we see in the lives of others in the meetings. We begin to let go of the desire to control. We begin to trust God. For some, surrender, the ultimate act of trust, comes in a single overwhelming experience. The realization that this higher power loves us and is working in our lives fills us. For most, however, this is a gradual process. Trust does not come easily. In step 2, we looked at the blocks to faith and came to see those blocks as layers of defensiveness. Now we can look beneath these defenses and see our pain and fear. We may be hurting from betrayal of trust, our own or others. We may have closed off our capacity to trust while living the lifestyle that accompanied our chemical usage. We may have lost it long before we picked up. Growing up in chemically dependent or otherwise abusive families, we are fearful. In our caution, we give God a little bit at a time, and it works. It works. As time goes on, we are reminded once more that half measures avail us nothing. Testing the waters is all well and good for a time, but sooner or later we have to dive in. By that time, fortunately, we have begun to learn some wonderful things about our higher power. As Tradition 2 tells us, we realize that our God is a loving God. We find that this is not the limited and conditional thing that we sometimes call love. Rather, it is unconditional and beyond our imagination. Unlike chemicals and any single human being, God always and unfailingly gives us what is truly best for us. Slowly, as we allow the God of our understanding to be revealed to us, we understand that God patiently awaits our decision. Regardless, this decision must come from within. Herein lies the beauty of step 3. After our desire for control has taken us in so many destructive directions, we are offered the opportunity to do something healthy and life-giving with it. The decision is not and cannot be made by chemicals, by another person, by a group of people, or by circumstances. It is our decision. How surprised and delighted we are to discover that step 3 means strength rather than weakness. We make the decision to give ourselves completely to that which has our best interests at heart at every moment. We are not plunging into harmful dependence. We are being freed from it. We are finally free to be who we really are, and it is simply a decision. Those who told us that step 3 is the pivot of the program meant exactly that. Steps 1 and 2 get us to it, and steps 4 through 12 allow us to live it. In a sense, the decision in step 3 is the agreement to work the remaining steps. We are expressing our willingness to do whatever is necessary so that we can live the kind of lives we really want to live. With whatever help we need from those who understand, such as our sponsors, we make the decision and act on it. We say to our higher power whatever words we wish to say. We may invoke our God by whatever name we see fit and say something like, "Take my will and my life into your care. I give it to you completely, without any reservation. I accept whatever you have to give me, knowing that it will be what is best for me. Your guidance, your power, and your love will meet my every need and will work through me to help others. I will your will." The action does not stop here, yet already we begin to feel the results. We feel a lessening of the fear that has consumed our lives and know the beginnings of real freedom. For some, this means being released from worry or sleeplessness. For others, it means some break in our obsessive anger, guilt, or depression. For others, it means being able to function on a day-to-day basis. And for others, it means the beginning of taking healthy, growth-enhancing risks. In all cases, these freedoms bring us a new sense of peace. Slowly, one day at a time, we start to understand the concept of serenity that is expressed by so many in CDA. Again, the action does not stop here. If we try to sit back and bask in the pleasant feelings that most of us experience when initially working step 3, we will lose them. Our sponsors remind us that we have now agreed to work the remaining steps. To stop here as though we have arrived is to court disaster. We are told that many have relapsed by seeing the first 3 steps alone as sufficient tools in recovery. There is much healing and, therefore, much work to be done. If we have truly begun to turn our will and our lives over, we need to walk the course that our higher power has laid out for us. Willingness, enhanced now by surrender and commitment to our God, takes us on to step 4.